Have you ever wondered about the importance of investing in IPOs? These public offerings can be a golden opportunity for investors, potentially offering substantial returns. Today, we're going to explore such an opportunity, the public issuance of primary shares, also known as an IPO, by Nepal Warehousing Company Limited. This IPO could open up new avenues for both seasoned and novice investors alike. So, let's dive into the specifics of this IPO. First, let's discuss the details of this IPO. Nepal Warehousing Company Limited has received permission to issue a whopping 1,375,000 shares. Each share is priced at a face value of 100 Nepalese rupees, bringing the total value of the issue to a hefty 13 crore 75 lakh Nepalese rupees. This initial public offering, or IPO, is a significant step for the company as it allows them to raise capital by selling shares to the general public for the first time. It's an exciting prospect for potential investors as well, as they get the chance to buy into the company at the ground level, so to speak. But let's break down these numbers a bit more. Out of the total shares being issued, 137,500 shares worth 1 crore 37 lakh 50,000 rupees have already been allocated for Nepalese working abroad. This allocation was made in the first phase, after obtaining the necessary labor approvals from the relevant government bodies of Nepal. In addition, the company has reserved 27,500 shares worth 27 lakh 50,000 rupees for its employees and 687,500 shares worth 6 crore 87 lakh 50,000 rupees for collective investment funds. The remaining shares, amounting to 1 crore 41 lakh 25,000 rupees, will be issued to the general public starting from the 10th of Mansir. The minimum application is for 10 shares, while the maximum is for 50,000 shares. The issuance will close earliest by the 13th of Mansir and latest by the 24th of Mansir. The company's IPO and sales management are handled by Himalayan Capital Limited. Investors can apply through all ASBA member banks and financial institutions approved by the Nepal Securities Board, their designated branch offices, and the software MeroShare developed by CDS and Clearing Limited. That's a substantial amount, right? But how are these shares going to be allocated? The company has a clear plan for the distribution of these shares. The allocation process is strategic, ensuring that a diverse set of stakeholders can participate. Firstly, the company has earmarked a portion of the shares for Nepalese working abroad. This is a significant move as it acknowledges the contribution of these individuals to the economy and provides them with an opportunity to invest back home. Next, the company has also set aside a certain number of shares for its employees. This is a common practice that not only incentivizes the employees but also aligns their interests with the long-term success of the company. In addition, a chunk of shares has been reserved for collective investment funds. These funds pool resources from various investors and are managed by professionals. This allocation is beneficial as it brings in institutional investors who can provide stability and credibility to the company. Last but not the least, the remaining shares will be issued to the general public. This allocation will commence from Mansir 10. This move ensures that the wider public can participate in the company's growth and success. By allocating shares in this manner, the company ensures a broad base of shareholders, which can contribute to the stability and growth of the company in the long run. It's a balanced approach, taking into account the interests of various stakeholders, from employees to institutional investors to the general public. The company is keen on ensuring that every interested individual has an opportunity to be part of their journey. This is reflected in their allocation strategy, which is inclusive and well thought out. Now that we know how the shares will be distributed, how can one apply for them? Applying for these shares is straightforward. The company has set a minimum application limit for 10 shares. This means that you cannot apply for less than 10 shares. On the flip side, there's a ceiling too. The maximum number of shares you can apply for is 50,000. This provides a broad range, accommodating both small and large investors. Now, let's talk about the timeline. The IPO will open for application on the 10th of Mansir. If you're keen to invest, make sure to mark this date on your calendar. The closing date for the IPO, on the other hand, will depend on the response it receives. If the IPO is oversubscribed and closes early, it will close on the 13th of Mansir. However, if the response is slower, the IPO will remain open until the 24th of Mansir. The company has appointed Himalayan Capital Limited as the IPO manager. They will oversee the entire process, ensuring that it runs smoothly. For the application process, the company has made it easy and convenient. You can apply for the shares through all ASBA-approved banks and financial institutions and their branches. This means you can walk into any of these branches and apply for the IPO. But if you prefer to do things digitally, you're covered too. The company has collaborated with CDS and Clearing Limited to create a software called Mero Share. This software allows you to apply for the shares online. You can use this software to fill in your details, apply for the number of shares you want, and even track the progress of your application. So whether you prefer the traditional way or the digital way, applying for these shares is easy and convenient. But what's the risk involved with this investment? Every investment comes with its share of risks. This is particularly true in the case of initial public offerings or IPOs, where the future of a company and consequently your potential return on investment can be somewhat uncertain. This is where credit ratings come into play, offering a glimpse into the company's financial stability and the level of risk involved. In the case of the IPO in focus, the Informatics Credit Rating Agency has given the company a rating of IRN BB-. Now, you may wonder, what does this rating mean? Well, this rating is an indication of medium risk in the company's ability to bear liability. In simpler terms, it points to a moderate level of uncertainty regarding the company's capacity to meet its financial obligations and commitments. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that the investment is a bad choice. It simply means that as potential investors, you should be aware of the associated risks. Every investment decision should be made after thorough research and understanding of the company's financial health and the market conditions. So, it's essential to consider these points before making your investment decision. Remember, informed decisions are the key to successful investments. We've covered quite a lot today, haven't we? From the initial public offering of the Nepal Warehousing Company Limited to the finer details of share allocation, we've journeyed through an array of crucial information that will help you make informed decisions. Let's take a moment to quickly recap what we've learned. The Nepal Warehousing Company Limited is issuing an IPO for the general public, having already allocated shares for Nepalese working abroad. The company has been granted permission to issue shares worth 13 crores and 75 lakh rupees, which is 20% of its existing capital. The company, in its first phase, had issued shares for Nepalese working abroad, amounting to 1 crore 37 lakh 50,000 rupees. In addition, the company has reserved shares for its employees and collective investment fund worth 27 lakh 50,000 rupees and 68 lakh 75,500 rupees respectively. The remaining shares amounting to 11 crore 41 lakh 25,000 rupees will be issued to the general public from the 10th of Mansir. In terms of the application process, investors can apply for a minimum of 10 shares and a maximum of 50,000 shares. The IPO issue will close at the earliest on the 13th of Mansir or latest by the 24th of Mansir. The Himalayan Capital Limited is managing the share issue and sale. And as with any investment, it's crucial to understand the potential risks involved. The company has received an issuer rating of IRN BB- from Informatics Credit Rating, indicating a medium level of risk in the company's ability to meet its obligations. So there we have it, a comprehensive overview of the Nepal Warehousing Company Limited's IPO. It's a lot to take in, but remember, knowledge is power when it comes to investing. Stay informed, stay smart, and you'll be well on your way to making sound investment decisions. Thank you for your time, and remember to stay informed before diving into any investment opportunity.